Now who wanna move close enough? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange Apollo, single bottle, never stop it. To the beast and know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world.
What's up everybody? This is Ted Karras of the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincy Hat, and you're watching Bengals and Brews.
Back.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Bengals and Brews. The Bengals lost to the Browns on a field goal, 49-yard field goal at the end of the game. Honestly, kind of deserved to lose, had the turnovers. Noah Fant making some history. Like, I can't imagine anyone else has done this. 3 fumbles, all returned for touchdowns. Yeah. Just, that guy sucks. I mean, not an ideal pick up there at tight end, but, you know, Burrow had the pick 6 on a tip pass. Other than that, I thought the defense played pretty decent once again.
Yeah.
Cedric Johnson, I mean, he seems like a dude going into next year that should solidly be in the rotation. Thought he was awesome yesterday. Needs to finish a little better. Probably could have had 3 sacks instead of just 1. Any thoughts on the game to start with before we get into our mock draft?
I felt like the game was just sloppy. I felt like that I don't know. I'm not saying they went out there and tanked the game. I'm just saying they went out there and I was there and it just felt sloppy. Like you said, the penalties, the interception, the fumble, it just felt like a sloppy game.
Yeah, like Chris said, we had to burn a timeout after the first quarter break.
Yeah, right.
It came out like we didn't even have a play called. Like, it just goes to your point of how sloppy it was. Any thoughts on the game, Dustin?
The Garrett sack was kind of sketchy. Those are the things that make you think maybe the NFL is rigged, you know?
Yeah, Burrow laid down on the ground and then Garrett touched him down.
It's
right?
not. It's just like the play itself. Like you hadn't singled Miles the whole game, and all of a sudden, and he knew the snap count. It's like, what am I rooting for anymore in this sport? You know, it's just shit like that. It's just like, oh God, you know what I mean? It's just I don't know, but I think I could give a shit about the game, less about the game yesterday. It's more about some of the developments of today. Obviously, everybody being retained, not a shocker. I think the bigger news of today we get access to Duke Tobin on Friday, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. I don't know if that's something that you guys wanted to talk about before we hop into the draft a little bit.
I can't imagine he's going to say anything, but that's okay. I'm glad they're doing it, right? Because we've talked about how Zach has to set up there and get these questions about this and that stuff that should be asked to him. So, you know, since he's the GM, let's just call him the GM, whether he has that title or not. That's what he is, and that's why he's doing this. And it's something that's been requested by the fans for more transparency and just put his ass to the fire. You know what I mean? Like, why do you suck at your job? Why didn't you do more to make this team better? Like, you know, and maybe he can't really say, well, the front office won't let me spend very much money, but hell, I'd respect him a lot more if he did.
Yeah.
Like I wanted a lot of the players, and the front office wouldn't cut those checks. I would love to hear him say that. Well, I don't think that'll happen, but I mean, that's probably the truth of it.
So as a reporter, usually in these press conferences, you get about 2 to 3 questions, I think, something along those lines per reporter. What little exercise here. What 2 to 3 questions, if you were in that room on Friday, would you ask Duke?
Why do you suck at your job? Number 1, I think I already covered. Go ahead, John.
If the responsibility does not lay on you, if Mike Brown has put out a statement saying Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin are the leaders going forward that can help us out, why is that? Why is it not your fault 3 years in a row not being in the playoffs? Tell me why it is not you. That's the question I have.
I think he needs to be asked something about his comments from last year, right? About not spending more money for the same team. You brought in TJ Slayton and Oren Burks. You did just spend more money for the same team. You didn't do anything to improve. If anything, you probably got a little worse. So I think that's something, you know, something around that should be asked. Fire Duke Tobin. It's not happening, but you can
God, I
still
was
get the shirts. You can still get the shirts for next year.
I still got the shirts for next year because Mike Brown got made out a shirt today. It says, fuck you.
Yeah. My three questions, and you know me, I like the bigger philosophy type questions. With him on Friday, I would like, because you're with these press conferences, I like specific questions, because if you're kind of just gonna give him like questions like, hey, why are you the right person for the job? Like, yeah, it's just he's already got the job. Like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it's like, whatever. For me, the three questions I'd ask is, what was the thought process going into the year with the handling of the safety positions? Number one. Number two, what is the Cincinnati Bengals, philosophy scouting when it looks at production over potential? And the third one would be, how much has the Blair retainment over the last like 4 to 5 years, its contracts taking a while and not getting out in front of them, do you think has impacted this team? Those are the three like specific questions I would love for one of the reporters to ask, because I think that in itself would unveil a lot of like the thinkings of what's kind of because where we are today is specifically because of these things, right? Like for the most part. So that's what I'd want to know.
Got some news here. So, it's that time of year where they sign reserve future contracts and things like that. There's also like 1-year extensions for some of these players that pretty much are probably in similar boats. But these 13 players finished the seasons on the practice squad. Linebacker Liam Anderson, still don't even know who that is. Center Jake Bayer, forgot we had another center. Gary Brightwell, who we thought, hey, decent return guy. Nothing wrong with keeping him around for preseason, things like that. Quarterback Sean Clifford, I thought we got rid of him. Apparently he was back. Yeah, that doesn't move the needle. Andrew Coker, who I thought had a pretty good preseason. So, I mean, that's one. I'm glad he's still going to be here. See if he can, continue to progress this year into preseason and maybe compete for a spot. Howard Cross the third, I don't think that's surprising. You're going to have him back, as you should. Javon Foster, who is a former 4th-round pick we picked up, he didn't get a look this year, but he was on practice squad all year. You'll actually have him to get a look in preseason, so I'm good with that. Wide receiver Xavier Johnson, that's a kid from Ohio State we brought in late in the season. More of a special teams guy probably than anything for the NFL, but he made some plays when he was at Ohio State as a receiver. Cornerback Jalen Kimber, don't know much about him. Cornerback Braylon Lux, who we called up, a couple times late in the season, so that's a guy we like. Obviously, think he has potential to maybe be like our slot cornerback. It wouldn't surprise me if this guy like wins the starting job, depending who else is here. Obviously, it'd be nice to have him as depth and go from there, and if he has to play and then earns it. But, good to have him around. Wide receiver Jordan Moore, that was a kid out of Duke we had last year. Antoine Powell-Ryland. So, hey, we can't give up on him. We still think that's a guy, he'll have a preseason with us now. I like that. Safety Rush Yeast. So we're keeping the yeast infection around. And then we signed the following 6 players to 1-year contract extensions through the 26th season. Isaiah Foskey, really like that one because, Foskey really showed something every time he had opportunities, I thought. Joe Giles Harris, that one surprised me, kind of being a veteran guy, but hey, good special teams guy. He played most of the season on special teams, and I thought he was pretty good. Cam Grandy, I mean, we didn't see literally anything from him, but he was active a few times this year and was on the 53 the whole time. Shaka Hayward, I'm a big fan of him. I'd like to see him get a real opportunity for some snaps. PJ Jules, who I thought played like at a Pro Bowl level. We always talk about Tyson Anderson playing at that level. I thought PJ Jules was probably our best special teams player, better than Tyson Anderson this year. He was constantly making plays on special teams. And then Mitch Tinsley. So Dustin keeps his hope for Mitch Tinsley alive.
He's our new Stanley Morgan.
Yeah, there you go. But a guy that can give you some snaps, right? And potential, and obviously had a good preseason. That Ravens game was rough for him. You didn't see Joe go his way a lot after that game and things like that. But hey, that's a good list of players to have around, especially for preseason. See if you can earn some jobs, go from there. I got no issue with that. But yeah, just saw that, so wanted to mention those players for everybody.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Isaiah Foskey, I think, there was some, high pedigree there, right? Drafted high, showed some things. And, those are the players, like, you go throughout the season and, like, you're not going to be healthy all the time, but like him coming off the bench as a rotational piece, like, yeah, sign me up. Where you see, like a team like the 49ers lose Trent Williams as a left tackle and their offense is non-operational, or like they get no pass rush. It's just like, these are like the kind of key signings like here. I know they're not big names, but guys that can serve a role and guys that you obviously like. I know we're all excited about the Antoine Powell
Rylan.
There. Yeah, Rylan. We'll get to probably see more of him in the preseason, so that's going to be exciting too.
Yeah, Black Monday for a lot of teams and coaches around the league, but not us.
Right.
They already said they're back. But
I
wanted to mention. I wanted to mention real quick, Chop, so I don't forget.
Yeah.
It all came down to the final game where I'm rooting for the Ravens to win our picks from the season, and Chop has to root for the Steelers to win the picks. And that game was back and forth. I didn't watch it till it got exciting, like really exciting there at the end, and just all kinds of points. So I watched like that last quarter, maybe a little more than the last quarter. And I lost and Chop won it all. So I got screwed over by the Chiefs as well. The Raiders hit a 60-yard field goal. Chop wouldn't even had a chance in last night's game had they not made that 60-yard field goal. Plus, the Bengals would have been picking 9th instead of 10th if the Chiefs could have held on to that win. So I got double fucked on that one, I feel like. But congrats, Chop. You were down like 9 or 10 picks at one point. You just kept surging forward. I kept melting down, and you beat me.
It's a lesson in life to let everybody know in the Brew Crew, like, if you're down, like if you think you're defeated and you're down, you're like, there's no way, it's insurmountable. I cannot make up this deficit. Just keep trying. Keep plugging away like the Chop did. And you'll defeat, these overbearing fuckers. Oh, it's dead.
Is that me?
Never mind. But you'll beat them. You'll rise to the championship level. You'll win. You'll defeat everybody. You'll leave them in the wake. You'll be one game ahead when the dust settles. You'll be one game ahead. And they're all losers. Fuck them. You're the champion.
We could do a playoff pick'em. You got to defend your title, Chop.
It's over.
Playoffs.
Pick'em's over.
No,
there's like
over. Hold on. Mic drop.
He's scared. He's scared.
You're the regular season champion, and no one can take that from you. But we probably will reset and do some playoffs. We'll see if we get time.
There might be a title coming out declaring my championship.
as it should, honestly.
But as a result of that game, are you guys kind of surprised like the Ravens didn't make any moves today? I know a lot of people thought about that might have been Harbaugh's last go around for them, but doesn't look like it.
No. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, and that's like I know I seen one tweet that was like that whole last quarter of the game was like, oh, Harbaugh's getting fired. Old Tomlin's getting fired. No, Harbaugh's getting fired again because it just kept going back and forth. And it's like, honestly, neither of them's probably getting fired. So
no,
it is what it is here in the AFC North. The only team changing coach is Stefanski is out with the Browns.
That's because that's what the fucking Browns do, man. They change coaches like I change underwear. Constantly.
My brother's a Browns fan, and he was like, yeah, Stefanski was pretty checked out this year. So it was like, he was ready to go. I think
they can just run. Yeah, they can run a lot of
the longest tenured coach since Paul Brown.
Probably for them, probably.
Yeah. But I kind of view that statement from Mike Brown today as like, you got a year. You know what I mean? Like Zach, like, it's kind of like, because, around the end of Marvin's tenure, you started to see these statements come out, and eventually they moved off of him. So I think this is like a warning shot to me, Yeah,
and to have Duke coming in front of the media could be part of that too. It's like, hey, you're going to go face the music, big boy. And, you're all on the hot seat. I mean, the part about the statement I hate, and because Zach does it too, is talking about when you went to the Super Bowl. You've missed the playoffs 3 straight times. That was 4 or 5 seasons ago. Like, what are we doing here? You can't keep, bringing that up. Like, it's a what have you done lately for me league. I think it was Sam Torrey said, there's like 2 coaches or whatever that was on that staff. Like there's not very many coaches left from that staff. There's not very many players left from that Super Bowl team. It's a completely different team. You've got to be able to. You can't miss the playoffs 3 straight times when you have Joe Burrow. Plain and simple. Well, they can. You're right. They did, and they can, and they're back. Can they do it a 4th? Let's hope
they're going to damn sure try coming up here soon.
Yeah. It's just sad because you watch, like, again, this is another season of this, but you watch, like, the 2 teams last night, and it's like, we could easily beat them. But that's the NFL. Any team can beat any team. I guess every team can say that.
Teams there in the playoffs the AFC North smoked in the playoffs. The AFC South smoked.
Well, the Texans got to go to Pittsburgh. That's kind of interesting. I think Pittsburgh could possibly get a playoff win, to be honest.
I don't know, man. I like the Texans quite a bit.
But man. Hey, old man Rogers going to get smoked.
Well, that's another announcement. Well, I guess no games are before, no. Is there games or there's college football Thursday and Friday, right?
Thursday and Friday, yeah. And then the wild card, the super wild card weekend, they call it now, is Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, well, we can make our playoff picks on Friday's show then.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll make playoff picks on Friday's show and stuff like that. But this will be our last Monday show for a little while. We are going to continue to do Fridays. We're going to cut down to 1 day a week. Do Fridays. We'll still do pop-up shows. Obviously, free agency starts to get here, and there's actually stuff to talk about. But, it gets to where there's just not a ton to talk about, and we don't want to be all burnt out. So, give everybody time to recharge their batteries. Greg's already taken a little hiatus anyway.
We're going to go to Cancun with Greg.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase, right? We're all going to Cancun. Right, I can't afford that. But yeah, we'll still do Fridays, but we wanted to do this one last Monday show. We'll talk draft. We'll talk everything. We'll try to cram as much in on Fridays as we can. Maybe those will be longer shows. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Couple interesting comments from, the locker room today. I thought Don Reiser is pretty clear that he wants to be back. Flacco. So, let's move in on those guys, right? Let's make them some offers. Let's show them that you're fans, that we're already being proactive. I don't know. To me, it's open game on that for sure.
Yeah.
I would have already signed Reisner.
Yeah. Yep.
The man is begging to get signed. He was begging to come to Cincinnati. Now he's begging to get re-signed, and all he's done here is done a good job, except for that game where he let that guy through that fucked up Joe's toe. Ever since then, he's done a great job.
He had a tough go of it with Mason Graham yesterday. I will say that. Mason Graham was kind of eating him up a little bit, but it's end of season, so hell no dominant. Yeah.
To the first round. Come on, man. That's a third round pick. That's crazy talk. You guys got no pass rush. That's not what we need. And I love Parker, but I just completely disagree about taking Dominic Goins.
That's top 50. I just think that he spells Harold Perkins Jr. awfully funny.
That's another guy I don't want. At the earliest, the 3rd or 4th round. But yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to do the top 10 picks. So we'll go through, we'll make the picks for each team. We got time, then we'll go through and do just a Bengals specific one. But this will give us an idea, kind of looking at, hey, what teams need, what's on the board, who might pick who could still be available at pick 10 by going through and doing the top 10 here.
All right, let's see here. I'm not select all. Boom. And then
I have to maximize my screen.
How many rounds? Just the one.
You don't see me making a lot of comments because I got to do this to see the
one round, Dale.
Yeah, just do one round for this, and you can just put all teams, but we'll just do the first 10 picks.
What are the free agency wide receivers? Because literally Mendoza's walking into a situation outside of Bowers. He has nobody to throw to.
Yeah.
Their receivers are awful.
I'm not 100% sure. I'd say it's not very deep. It's not a very deep free agent class in general. I think linebacker, maybe you could get a guy there if the Bengals are even looking for that. That'd be a question someone should ask Duke Tobin. How do you feel about these linebackers? How do you feel about Then moving forward, are you going to be proactive in getting a linebacker in free agency in a decent class? Like, at least put that in his head.
Yeah.
We got Las Vegas up. Draft is now open. 2026 NFL Draft, sponsored by Bengals and Brews.
Sponsored by Midwest Best Barbecue and the Chop Shop.
Midwest Best Barbecue and the Chop Shop is now officially open.
All right. So first up, you got the Raiders, and I mean, it's a no-brainer. They have to take a quarterback. I am praying that Dante Moore comes out in this draft, so we got 2 quarterbacks that can go before pick 10. If not, I don't think there is one. Ty Simpson declares, doesn't declare. I don't think it matters. I don't think he's a top 10 player, and I know quarterbacks get drafted higher, but I don't think the way he finished the year, somebody would take him top 10, even in this class with several teams needing a quarterback. But Vegas, to me, I think regardless, it's probably Fernando Mendoza. And we know he's coming out. They put belt to ass on Alabama this week. And what are you guys' thoughts here for Vegas at pick 1?
I think you're right. They're going to go quarterback. So they're just going to take the top quarterback in the thing.
He's the top quarterback. I have huge concerns. I've been watching him breaking down some stuff lately. He drops his head to the pass rush a lot. And when he gets off of his first target, I don't know, man. I have some huge concerns with him, but he's the only thing that's there, Yeah, I would probably, if Dante Moore comes out, I'd probably take Dante Moore over Mendoza. Real talk.
Yeah, I like what I've seen more from Mendoza, and we've seen him in critical moments play his best football. Moore, we haven't seen it as much. They're just not in super close games a lot. When they are, they run the ball quite a bit.
Well, we're picking Mendoza, right?
His numbers against top defenses this year are not great either, but
yeah, we'll go Mendoza pick 1. I don't think we need to drag it out too much here. And then this is where it's okay, if the Jets are on there, they're on the clock. You would think they'd take a quarterback.
I think they're also taking quarterback.
If they wouldn't take a quarterback, could they consider a defensive tackle? Yeah, I don't know that they would go Peter Woods number 2 if they traded away Quinnen Williams. I think they could still use a cornerback. Jermon McCoy didn't play all season. Delane, I don't think they'd take this high. I think that they're hoping and praying, because if not, they might have to reach and take a wide receiver here to pair with Garrett Wilson. It would be the only other thing if Dante Moore doesn't come out in this draft that even makes somewhat sense. And even then, you're taking Cardell Tate or Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon. I don't think you want to be taking any of those guys at pick 2, but this draft class is kind of wide open at the top.
What was the stat on the Jets? Is the first team since when with not recording an interception?
Oh yeah,
this is the merger or some shit. So maybe cornerback, safety.
Yeah, that's stuff they need, but we're gonna say Dante Moore declares, but man,
because that's what we got on this board. I agree.
We'll be doing another one if he doesn't, because that's going to screw the Bengals big time. That's one of the biggest things to me that we have to watch out for.
All right, now we got Arizona.
They could use the right tackle. They could be in the market for a quarterback. I don't think there's anything here when it comes to that. They may have to go get a veteran and say goodbye to Kyler that way. Michael Wilson came on at wide receiver. They still have Marvin Harrison, but I still think they need another receiver.
I was going to say they need to draft Marvin Harrison's replacement. He stinks.
I put Jeremiah Love here the other day, and I know people are like, they ain't going to take a running back that early. It's are you sure? Because, in this class, it's not crazy to take a running back 3rd overall, especially Jeremiah Love, who is clear-cut running back 1 in this class. So that wouldn't shock me, but I'm kind of leaning more toward right tackle for them. That's what I have as a need.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything different?
No. Arizona has they do like their defensive athletes. They could look at this as well, we're getting a new coach now. Maybe our strength is actually on the defensive side with someone with Water Nolan. Let's pair a pass rusher with him kind of thing. Let's build on our defense first and start there through the draft. As quarterbacks may become available in the future, like that's kind of a way to think about it too. I think right tackle is probably the obvious, hey, this is a need. But I also kind of think of it like maybe as a GM would think, like, let's build one side of the ball first as we kind of explore what our quarterback situation is in the future, you know?
So you talking like Ruben Baines, matching him up with Walter Nolan?
Yeah, imagine that. I mean, look what the Browns did last year. Nobody thought that they would probably take Mason Graham, right? You know?
Yeah, you're right. That would be a force. That would be a good front line.
I'm not opposed to it. Like, I think Bain probably be the top. I just Arvell Reese. I mean, sitting there at 3 on the board. I don't have him that high. Like, I dropped him down to 12th overall on my board, and that's being generous, honestly. Like, you just didn't see him, and you can say that, oh, the way Ohio State used him, that's fine, but you still got to make more plays than one.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of out on him as a top 10 pick,
Well,
even if he was there for the Bengals.
This, like, we're Arizona fans, right? Like, what do we want to see with the team?
They need so much is the problem. Like, that's why I don't think Jeremiah Love's crazy. Like, at least he'd be fun. And at least, you know, if you get competent quarterback play.
Yeah, take the pressure off Kyler Murray and the passing game.
But I'm still kind of leaning like Spencer Fano at right tackle. Just give him I think he's going to test really well. I mean, the guy moves like a tight end playing offensive tackle. And he's a mauler in the run game, so that'll help. Like, if you don't take a running back here, whoever you have at running back, that should help them, you know, and take pressure off your quarterback that way, if you think about it, too.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I think Spencer Fano, but I think, you know, you always want to say, like, 3 players they might take. I would say Bain, like we talked about, to add pass rush, would be like the backup plan for them. And then also Jeremiah Love. I don't think it's as crazy as what everyone else does. I think that would be.
I mean, also, wouldn't you put like a receiver like Tyson or Tate in there too? Possibly.
I don't know. I don't know, just because I think they're going to see what Marvin does, and then, I mean, Wilson really came on, so it's like, oh, you know, we're picking early in the second round. Maybe we can get, you know, our wide receiver then.
Right.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, you know, part of it could be like they want to sell tickets in that Arizona market. Jeremiah Love would sell tickets, you know. So
yeah,
I think Ruben Bain would sell tickets too to watch that defense just get after it.
Yeah.
So
right hearing though, Ruben Bain and Walter Nolan on the line.
I know. That'd be badass.
Well, look what the Texans did. You know,
is that what you guys want to do? Like,
I already hit Fano.
Oh, okay. Well, guess we're not doing that then.
I guess so. Sorry.
And then the Titans, I think, you know, they needed help a lot of places. I think they could use a receiver. I think this is when you could see Tate or Jordan Tyson. But I also think they could use a corner. I could see Delane. I could see Jermon McCoy in play. The edge rusher. Like, this could be a team that if Arvell Reese tests really well, that they say, hey, we're just going to take him. We're going to move him to edge, and we think he's going to be a star at edge. Like, that's the type of team that could take him still in the top 5, in my opinion.
I mean, if you're moving him to edge, and this is your scenario, why wouldn't you just take Ruben Bain, though, right?
For me, I would. Like, I would easily take Ruben Bain over him. I just don't know how these teams are, you know, viewing Bain, because still, like, you heard the second round talk from Brugler, and then it's like, you also hear about, well, okay, he'll still go in the first, but it'll be the second half of the first. And it's like, man, to me, that's crazy.
That is, I don't know, man. I watched that game with him in Ohio State, and at least the first half, man.
Ohio State's offensive line stinks. I mean, Ruben Bain's really good, but
I mean, they especially stink against Ruben Bain.
Yeah. What if Ohio State just drops a bag on Reese and he just comes back? You know,
he probably needs another year. Like, honestly, in my opinion, and this is the first year as a starter, so it's like, I don't know, man. These defensive guys are different. You know,
did he already declare for the draft?
No.
There's not been any decisions from any of those guys yet. I don't believe.
Okay.
There was this I listened to some Ohio State podcasts, and they've been, there's some rumblings that he could come back to Ohio State. So
Yeah.
but, yeah.
I wouldn't be super opposed, and you never know. Like maybe he's starting to get feedback, like, "Oh, you might not be a first round pick," and he's like, "Oh, I'll come back. I'll definitely be one." But we'll see. It's if he knows he's going in the first round, that's really hard to pass up, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you never know. Anything could happen to the next year. Look at fucking Garrett Nussmeier. If he'd have went in the draft last year, he would have probably been in the first round, right?
Yeah, I mean, he would have been in the conversation.
This year he had a shit year, so that's just an example of what can happen from one year to another.
Similar with Drew Aller from Penn State, last year he might have had a chance to get drafted in the first, maybe the second. This year I can't see him going until at least day 3.
Or you got the example where Quinn Ewers declared, and he makes less money than he did in college because he slid to the 6th round.
Yeah.
So it's wild. It's a lot of pressure on these kids to make decisions because.
For the Titans, I don't know, man. I think Bain would be a good pick for them. Like, hey, let's just get a really good defensive player. Let's get some pass rush.
Yeah.
They need everything. So, if they went receiver, that's not crazy to me. But what are you guys? Who are you thinking?
I think Bain. I think Tennessee is a team that has kind of had a defensive kind of culture, for the last 5 or 10 years. Thinking back to the Eddie George days, they were ground and pound, with a solid defense. I just think that's kind of the culture of what they like to build there. Even though, it's different people, new GM. You do have a quarterback. I just feel like Tyson and Carnell Tate at that position is just very rich too,
Yeah. Well, and I could see them taking a left tackle because the Dan Moore signing was just stupid in the first place to just cut your losses. But there's not a left tackle, and Gooseby, it sounds like, is going back, and he's the only guy that could have, in my opinion, ascended up to be a top 10 pick for a left tackle. You got Mawano and you got Fano, who's already off the board in this scenario, but those guys are right tackles. That's what they played in college. That's what they're going to play in the NFL, in my opinion. So I say Bain. It's just hey, this is just he's, in my opinion, one of the best players on the board.
I agree.
At a position of need, you take him.
All right, we got the Giants, New York Giants.
Looking at this board, though, these, top 10 players, there's some difference makers in here for sure, but not it's not the most impressive top 10 talent. I think there might be teams that try to trade out too. We'll see.
Yeah, and then you got to have somebody that's willing to trade up and give up something for feeling the same way. There's not really anybody I love here. Mm-hmm. I can get a similar caliber player by sticking at 18, 20 even, in this class. I think it's got good depth, in the mid rounds and stuff like that. But yeah, I am not very big on hey, here's 15 players I feel great about. A lot of question marks and a lot of lackluster guys that might even be 2nd round picks some years.
I think you're going to see a very expensive free agency market this year too. Just a note there, because I think a lot of these GMs are looking at these same boards and we're not going to fill our holes in the top part of the draft. We got to go get somebody.
Yeah, you might see Joseph Osai get a lot more money than what we're thinking. You know what I mean? Because he's still young.
Oh yeah, I mean the free agency market exploded last year for what did what's his name go to the Patriots for? The Eagles. His name slipping my mind.
Milton Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's 100-some million, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the Giants. I think cornerback, right tackle, linebacker, wide receiver. I mean, the list goes on and on for stuff they could use. What was it, Chop?
I feel like the Giants are going to go wide receiver, man, and they're going to go Malik Neighbors are going to get another wide receiver because the league is starting they're following the Bengals lead. They're starting to do this 2 number ones across the league. So if you take Malik Neighbors, who's on a rookie contract, you pair him with another a rookie wide receiver, and you got Cam Scadaboo at your running back with Jackson Dart. I just think that's lightning in a bottle.
I agree with you. And, sneakily, the Giants have a really good offensive line. They finished as, I think, a top 10 unit this year. So I can see
it's
that.
Definitely improved.
Yeah.
tell me which is the best receiver to match with Malik Neighbors. You know, like this Tyson guy, or you might have heard of this Carnell Tate feller.
Yeah, I really like Jordan Tyson. Like, he would be my receiver one, but I have Tate over him because of the injury history. Like, he's been injured like every year, you know, and it's like you pile all those on, and they've been severe injuries too throughout his career. So to me, I would go Tate over him strictly for that reason. And you know, you got Malik Neighbors coming off an injury. Well, do I want to get another guy in here that's been injured his whole career to pair with him, or go with the guy who's not really been injured throughout his career and Tate?
I got to tell you, Malik Neighbors didn't have a big injury career in college, did he? I don't remember that.
No, and freak things happen, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, but where he's coming off injury, you know, they might want to go with the safer route.
You're right.
Yeah. I'd probably go Tate as well. Hey, shout out to Wan'Dale Robinson. He went for 1,000 this year.
Oh, yeah.
So they could have a nice little 3 wide receiver set. Tate, Malik Neighbors, and Robinson, only like 5'7".
Where else do they Dale, you were naming some of the positions they really needed to replace. What do you think would take precedence over wide receiver there?
I could see them grabbing Downs too.
Yeah.
Their secondary. Yeah. What do you think, Dale?
That's a possibility. They might think that they have Neighbors and Scadaboo and Dart, and pick someone like Downs on the defense. It wouldn't be a bad pick, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, right tackle, are they going to bring back Jermaine Illuminor, you know, a guy we kind of wanted a while back? That's kind of the spot on their line. He's getting older too, so they could go with a Francis Mawanoa here. Like, if Fano wasn't off the board, he'd be in play. So, like, while the line's improved, I still think they could, you know, get a bookend tackle, you know, to protect Dart, and you're going to have to protect him from himself as well.
That's true, yeah. That kid has to be protected from himself.
I think Arvell Reese, another spot he could be in play, maybe even sneaky spot for Sonny Styles. I don't know if he'd go in the top 5, but I think he's the better linebacker than Arvell Reese. Mm-hmm. I think if Reese goes this high, it's because you're projecting him to move to edge.
Man, you could always match up Jeremiah Love with Cam Scadaboo. That'd be 1-2.
Do they got to make a decision on the Oregon DN? Because isn't he coming up on his 4th year?
Is that Thibodeau?
Yeah, Thibodeau.
Who kind of wanted out because they brought in Carter. They've still got Carter and Brian Burns. So they've still got, like, you know, and they got Dexter Lawrence. So I think, like, D-line is – I mean, if I was them, I'd go – like, if I'm going defense, I would go corner. Like, maybe linebacker, but, like, I think they really need, like, a dog at corner. So to me, I'm thinking corner, wide receiver, or right tackle and just take Mawanoa.
Let's go corner. I agree with you, Dale. With that D line and the investment that they made there, now they struggled in run defense this year. They got pressure on the quarterback. So that could make you think linebacker, but you match up a shutdown corner with that D line, you know, that can cause some havoc for sure.
So who are we thinking here? Mansour Delane?
I don't know. That's what's tough because I think McCoy would be above him. But he's been injured all year. So his is going to depend his workouts, his medicals, stuff like that. You know, how comfortable do they feel that he's going to get back? I mean, because you can think back to Stingley, you know what I mean? Like, Stingley missed his last season, and he was still great, and he still went, like, 3rd overall or whatever it was. Like, McCoy going 5th wouldn't necessarily be crazy because he was fantastic the year before for Tennessee. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of lean like if they're taking top 5, they go with that guy that could be more shut down. Like, I think Delane is very good, and he was pretty shut down at LSU, but he's also a little older, a little on the thinner side. I think McCoy has more of, like, star potential at corner, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
This is with us knowing, like, testing numbers and all this. Yeah, I think McCoy. That feels like a Giants pick, you know.
So we're taking McCoy for the Giants, right?
Yeah, we'll take McCoy, but I think, you know, Giants fans, they're probably like, oh, receiver, give us Tate. He's there, you know, and I could see that as, like, you know, would have been our other pick.
I got to tell you, when I see mock drafts and I see the Giants taking a receiver, I'm like, oh, my God, that's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I'll tell you the truth, I do think that they probably go receiver.
Yeah, it won't surprise
Neighbors
us.
is coming off an injury, and so we don't know what his timeline is, when he's going to be back in the fold, how he's going to react after that injury.
Giants is one of those teams, like their roster is like in an okay place. If they get the coaching hire right, which, the Giants been tripping over their own feet for a little while now. I think they could be a pretty decent team next year.
Yeah.
Because God knows they've been drafted high for a while. So
yeah, true. And I mean, those guys look good. Like Dart looked good. If Scatterboot comes back healthy, Neighbors comes back healthy, like there's some talent there. And maybe you're like, all right, let's get the corner. And then they come back around the second round and they try to, find a receiver. Maybe that's their thought.
And maybe their first round pick doesn't watch porn and masturbate in practice.
Oh,
what's wrong with that?
I don't know. Ask Abdo Carter.
Killing two birds with one stone, man.
Wasn't that?
Was that during practice?
He was watching porn during like a film study. I don't know if it was ever verified.
Yeah, film study. He was film studying.
Yeah, he was studying film.
Sounds like some good film study.
All right, we got the Cleveland Browns up next. Once again, another team that I still think needs a quarterback. Yeah, did Shador lead them at the end? Sure, but that's not your guy. You still need one.
Quarterback, though.
I agree, and I think they're kicking that can down the road till next year, and they want to be in that Arch Manning sweepstakes potentially. And I think there'll just be a lot more quarterback talent in general, especially if Simpson does go back. Maybe he has a good year, and he's back in this conversation next year for first round.
I think where that Jeremiah Love's in play. If you're not going to go quarterback,
not with Judkins
and what?
Judkins and Sampson. They got Judkins and Sampson last year.
Okay.
The Browns are getting old on the line too. Their O line, Bonito, Teller.
Well, let me ask you this though: if you're going to roll it back with Sanders, don't you think you ought to give him a target?
For sure.
Ball to?
Yeah.
I do. I think it comes down to offensive tackle. I think if there's a left tackle here, they do have another first-round pick, and maybe like Caleb Lomu might be there then, and that might make sense for their second first-round pick. But I think here, when no receivers are off the board, you're picking sixth. You got to think Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, one or the other at wide receiver.
Yeah. And the Browns' blind spot has been drafting receivers too. So it's like when you're drafting this high, it's kind of like you shouldn't miss. Like they should be impactful. And there's always the philosophy of like build up the team first before you draft the quarterback. So like get your receivers and your O line taken care of, and then you're kicking the can down the road. And by the time you get the quarterback, those weapons and protection are in front of you. So.
Somebody said Stefanski going to the Giants. I don't know if that's already happened, but that would make sense.
Rumor.
If
he goes to the Giants, he's bringing Schwartz with him too.
Yeah, and I mean, like those are pretty good coaches. So it's like, and we talked about the roster's decent. Like, yeah, let them cook. But yeah, for the Browns, I'm going receiver. Just which one do you guys want to pick, Tyson or Tate?
Two receivers. So this is on you guys.
I am going to go with Carnell Tate.
All right.
Yep.
That works for me
especially because the Ohio State thing with Cleveland,
Well, it's not even that. It's just like I said, the injury stuff for Tyson. He has the potential to be wide receiver one for a team, but I think Tate does too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's played with Jeremiah and some guys.
Yeah, and Tate's kind of like maybe he gets the edge. He played in a conference that plays a little bit better defense than the Big 12. So
Washington up next, and they need pass rush. So is this a team that says, "Oh, we're going to move Reese to edge full time"? Maybe, but I think they're looking more at like Keldrick Falk and David Bailey. And I know David Bailey's there he is. But I think David Bailey is the French top 5 player in this class. You just want a guy that can rush the passer, which is what they need from edge. That's what Washington needs. They need a guy that can get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think that's David
offensive
Bailey.
Line, too. I'm just asking because Jaden Daniels was getting killed, and so maybe they want to protect the quarterback, too. Like that dude
they traded for Tunsil last year. They traded for Tunsil last year, so they got him at left tackle. They extended that guard out of Texas that I liked years back when we took Carmen. So like they've got some pieces on the line. It's got to play better.
Yeah. They had a lot of high hopes for the line coming in this year too, because they have spent some draft on that, and like you said, brought in Tunsil and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like it's pretty clear their defense struggled a lot this year. So,
And they do have Johnny. What the hell?
Johnny Newton.
Yeah, they do got Johnny Newton in the middle. So you're right. If you that would help their defense a lot if you give them a pass rusher on the edge.
Yeah. Give him the outside guy to pair with him. So let's give him David Bailey.
Yeah.
David Bailey, Texas Tech. Like to me, that's the clear pass rush upgrade right here.
I'm just trying to get Falk off the board before number 10.
Oh, he's going to be there, and the Bengals are going to.
I know.
Giant bonus.
That's going to be the
too.
Duke Tobin pick. Now that Duke Tobin's our future.
So the Saints, obviously, I don't think they need a quarterback anymore. That's still on my list. I got to take it off. I just haven't updated that. Wide receiver, Olave when he's healthy, but he's not been healthy a whole lot lately. I think they could use an outside corner, another team that could use an edge. They could probably use a nose tackle, but you don't draft a nose tackle at 8, in my opinion.
No.
Your thoughts on the Saints, guys?
I could see this being a Jeremiah Love. Kamara's getting up there in age. The Saints have always had a pretty decent running back. You think back to Ingram being there too. You pair on the Shuck. I don't know what their situation is on the offensive line. I know they've spent some draft capital there before, but that would be interesting. That would be an interesting place for Love.
Yeah,
I would
say
definitely
hit on Kelvin Banks.
Yeah. I would say that if you think that you got your quarterback, like you said, Dale, you're going to take him off the board and they're going to move forward with Tyler Shook, give him a weapon. And that could be Jeremiah Love. That could be a wide receiver. That could be a tight end. I would say you give him a weapon. If that's your guy, you say, let's give him a weapon and see what he can do this year.
I agree. I think a weapon, and then it comes down to, Love or Tyson. And I know Mekhi Lemon could be in that conversation too, but I think you would consider taking the swing on Tyson regardless of the injury history because of, this could be wide receiver 1, and then you got Olave when he's healthy, who's like another wide receiver 1, and you're trying to, emulate that Bengals a little bit like we were talking about to have two studs.
What do you think, Dustin? I know you're real high on Jeremiah Love.
I know. I want somebody to draft him.
I know.
So I'm not tempted to with the Bengals. Man. Yeah. I think the Bengals show, you look at offenses that do struggle in the NFL. They just don't have guys that can get open. So when you have a quarterback, that's, obviously rookie, he's a little older, what can help those guys out are receivers that can win off the line and get separation fast, and you can get them the ball. So, yeah, I'm totally down with the wide receiver pick here. Either one of those guys, to be honest.
Well, guess what, man? Fuck these guys. Let's give them a punter. Kansas City on the board.
Kansas City
going to take.
I think Caleb Downs is in play if they lose Cook, the safety, Brian Cook, that they have, who's going to be a free agent, which I wouldn't mind nabbing him for the Bengals personally. Hey, you're going to take Caleb Downs from us. Let's go ahead and take your safety then. And we'll have him in free agency. But I also think Jeremiah Love, who we were just talking about, would be in play here. They were terrible running the ball. And Mahomes could certainly use a weapon like that in the backfield, a guy who can, make plays in the pass game and run the ball. And Jeremiah Love is fantastic at both, home run hitter type guy.
As a team that hates the fucking Chiefs, that would be scary.
So, honestly, I'm kind of leaning Jeremiah Love with both of them on the board. If Love was off the board, I would probably lean Caleb Downs.
I got to tell you, I'm leaning Jeremiah Love too, but is it because in my head I want Caleb Downs there in the next pick?
See, I kind of want him off the board because I still don't know building your team by taking a top 10 safety is the best thing, especially in this class. And I love Caleb Downs. I think he's a culture setter, a guy you you want as a leader of your defense. But I'm also like, I would really like D tackle or, somebody, an edge rusher if, David Bailey would have fell or Ruben Bain would be there, but they're both off the board. So it's like, I don't know.
I got things to say about that, but that's on the next pick. Let's pick for Kansas City.
I'm leaning Jeremiah Love personally.
Hey, look, I'm willing to go with it because that would be scary as shit. I really don't want him to take Caleb Downs, but Jeremiah Love on that offense, like you take the passing game and now you're going to match it with the running game possibly. So that would be freaky. Now, let me just say this on Cincinnati. Since we were talking about this in the last pick, we're talking about Caleb Downs. Let me just say this. This is why I think it's Caleb Downs. It's because if they give Al Golden what he wants, because Al Golden was saying last year, pre-draft, his field general on the field is his safety. All right. And he didn't get a safety last year. He rolled it out with Geno Snow and he rolled it out with Jordan Battle, and it didn't work out. And what has there been? There's been a lack of communication in our defense, right? There's nobody on there to get them all corralled. So that's why I'm saying I feel like it's Caleb Downs.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me personally making this pick, I would probably still take Peter Woods because every year I want
Peter Woods also.
I want somebody that can get after the quarterback from the interior defensive line, and it's
his
not
name
a good
is
free
Shamar
agent.
Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's flashed there quite a bit, and it's like, how much are you going to use him there? If the plan is to use him there a lot, the majority of his snaps are coming from the inside, then maybe you do pass on a Peter Woods here. I think they might consider Arvell Reese, even though, what I said, I have him 12th on my board now. I thought he had a lackluster second half of a season, but I don't know how Al Golden will view him in that Viper role. They tried to use Demetrius Knight in that, where he's played on the line a lot, and that obviously wasn't a good role for him. But they might think, Arvell Reese would be perfect for that. So I think Al Golden would be excited to potentially get Arvell Reese. I would be excited for probably Peter Woods still the most here, who I think could make the biggest impact. But then I mean, honestly, Caleb Downs, if he's on the board, man, you've got that leader on the defense. They weren't playing guys exclusively free and strong. They were interchanging those spots quite a bit. So you could do the same thing with Jordan Battle and Caleb Downs. I don't have a huge gripe with really any of those three players. Now, if they took Keldrick Falk here, who's on the board, I'd be like, what the hell are we doing?
Let me just say, too, this is a great spot to be in. We've went through the top 9 picks, and now we're at the Bengals spot. And this is a great board to pick from.
Yeah, I think so, too. If the Bengals are on the clock at pick 10 and you cut
in the tackle, I'm open to every single player on here, including, you can see Mansour Delane at the bottom. If you matched him up with DJ Turner and Dax Hill, come on, man. That is a secondary right there. So I'm still open to him. Kendrick Falk, I don't know him. You're down on him, so I'm down on him. Fuck him. I roll with my boy.
Well, I just don't think he's got the pass rush juice. He's a fine player. He's still a top 20 player. He's a good edge setter. He's got great size. He's got tremendous upside. But does that sound familiar? It does to me. Sounds like guys we already have here in the building.
Yoga, where's he play, right or left?
Malinoa plays on the right. Some even think he'd kick in the guard, but I think he's going to be a really good right tackle unless you're moving Mims to left. And with Brown under contract, you're not doing it next year. Our top 10 pick needs to come in and be an impact player from day one.
Also, if you sign Reisner, I think our offensive line's good for next year.
For next year, yeah.
Yes.
I don't have a gripe if we get Peter Woods. I think he improves your pass rush, but if they're going to use Shamar in that role a little more, then hey, maybe you don't go that route.
Where we need to go with hear from Dustin, and that while he's talking, let the Brew Crew chat in here because this is our pick. What are we taking?
So it's one of those things that's premium position too. Now Caleb Downs sits in a world of his own because he is so impactful. We talk production. One of the things you kind of always want to kind of be wary of with drafting defensive tackles, 3 techs. There is a development clip there, going back to Mason Graham had 1 sack this year. So if you as if we take Woods and Bengals fans expect like him to come in and have 4.5 sacks or 5.5, that may not be the case. Caleb Downs could be like your more impactful, productive player from like a down to down perspective. But it's also, again, like how NFL teams view, a pass rusher interior on the interior, kind of thing. So I would be fine with either one. It's almost like a coin flip for me. I bet if you poll Bengals fans, probably 90% of them would say Caleb Downs. But I am craving that interior pass rusher too. So
well, some of the Caleb Downs from a lot of the Bengals fans will come from the Ohio State homerism, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there may be some of it. I do think it's he's a really good player.
Yeah. If you're asking me, I would take Caleb Downs over Peter Woods, and it's only because I think that our safety position really struggled this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I've seen the not the resurgence, but the surgence, the initial one of Miles Murphy. He's been coming on. We drafted last year. We drafted Shamar Stewart, who can play the entire line. So I just think that our bigger need this time, I get the pass rush and I agree with it, but I just think with Miles Murphy coming on at the end of the year and stuff like that, and the comments that Al Golden said last year that Caleb Downs would probably be the pick. And I hope so.
I also
we got a lot more people saying Peter Woods than I expected. Like we've got a couple Caleb Downs, but I've seen a lot of Peter Woods, and it's like, it's nothing to do with Downs. It's to me like in a tiebreaker type scenario where I like both these guys quite a bit. I lean toward Peter Woods because, and hopefully at this point we would have already signed a safety. Like, if we already signed a safety, then it's like an easy decision,
right?
But the difference is, I also think, well, even if you didn't have your safety, like this draft has no one else at defensive tackle. Like when I have both of these players very similar on my board, like they're both top 7 players on my board.
Yeah.
So I feel good about getting either of them at 10. But I know that I can't get anybody close to what Peter Woods can be and will be, even if he doesn't have 4 sacks, 5 sacks. He's still going to get pressure. He's still going to cause some havoc from the interior and take attention away, so will free up your other guys. And I think there's more safeties that you can get in the second round. I've talked about Ramsey, Thenema, and McNeil Warren.
What's Peter Woods' size? Can he play nose also?
I wouldn't play him at nose. Like, I mean, last year at Clemson, they had him playing on the edge. I mean, he's like in the 293. Well, I think he's over 300. Like, he might be like 310, 315. They had him playing on the edge. So he's got good size, like 6'3", probably like 315. He can pretty much play anywhere on the D line.
So the Brew Crew is leaning Peter Woods.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a little mixed, and I think we're all like that too. So I don't have like a big gripe either way. Like I'll say Peter Woods. You said Caleb Downs. We'll just make Dustin break the tie and make a pick.
Go.
One thing to consider. So Kyle Hamilton signed a 4-year, $100 million contract this past year. So it's like one thing you think of is, are we ready to make a safety like $120 million? Or would you want to spend that money on a pass rusher on the interior?
I don't think that
that's a big, and like the Ravens defense still struggled, right? Like because they had no pass rush, and I don't know. But
when you're drafting top 10, it's like you can't even think about a second contract, especially when you have 3 losing seasons. To me,
yeah. I was just trying to think of in terms of like the way that NFL values certain positions, like in terms of like
because Justin, you're still thinking like Lou Anarumo's here, and we're developing these guys so we can use them 3 years down the road when their contracts due. We got a new guy now. He's playing the young fellers.
Yeah, I'll go with Downs despite all that. Well, I'm just. Okay. I think it crosses the production box. I can imagine the fallout on not that this should make your decisions for yourself, but like the fallout on draft night, if Woods and Downs is there and we take Woods, I think it would be crazy on Twitter. People are going to go nuts.
Yeah, I would be happy. I'd be like, all right, man, now let's get our and then because a lot of those people, like, if they did turn around and took one of these really good safeties, and I have a hard time believing that they wouldn't have their pick of some really good ones in the second round with McNeil Warren, Thieneman from Oregon, McNeil Warren's from Toledo, and then Ramsey from USC. Like, I think one of those guys is going to be there in the second. You know, that's my whole argument for, you know, taking Woods over Downs. But hey, if we got Caleb Downs, I'd be like, all right, let's go. I'd be happy about that too. What are we going to do in the next round? You know?
Yeah.
Somebody should write this down because this is 100% accurate up until Cincinnati's pick where we take fault.
Keldrick Falk.
Yeah, that is such a valid point because where are we getting a pass rushing defensive tackle the rest of the draft?
There's not, like, and it's an awful class for it. Like, the D tackles in this class are just a bunch of nose tackles.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought Slayton's played solid, you know, and I know he's 2-year deal, so he's got one more. And then I even think like McKinley Jackson, Chris Jenkins is more of a run stuffer. He doesn't have that size, but that's what he is.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he was at Michigan.
But it's a good argument. This is a first mock draft. Like, it doesn't matter. So, like, honestly, with this scenario we ran today doing a top 10, I'm pretty happy if they take any of Reese, even Woods or Downs. But then, you know, it's like, as long as it's not Keldrick Falk or Caden Proctor here in the top 10, I think I'll be okay.
You know,
I mean, there's other crazier picks they could do, but you know what I'm saying. Like, if they have any brain and they only have a certain amount of guys who should be up that high on their board, they got a good choice there.
Yeah.
Fucking
Next
Woods.
time maybe we'll do one. No quarterbacks taken. Like, nobody takes a quarterback.
Fucking Woods is going to fall to the Ravens, and he's going to be living in our backfield for the next 4
God,
years.
don't say
You know?
that.
Yeah, they could use him, and they could be a team that like tries to trade up with Kansas City and take him.
Oh, they want to solve the pass rushing issue. Look, they went out and got Draymond Jones. They could not get anybody around Aaron Rodgers last night in pass rush. So that's who they're going to be zeroed in on.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy if they're like, oh, the Bengals added a safety in free agency. They don't want Downs. Oh, we know that they want Peter Woods because they got a glaring need there.
This is what I was saying before, Dan, when we were talking about it. But like, what free agent safeties are available this year? Do you know?
I know Brian Cook from Kansas City. There's a few other guys too. I've got the list on my phone. I don't remember it all.
We play Kansas City next year too. Well, I tell you what, if we got Cook and they got Downs, Cook would be going into that game pissed off, wouldn't he?
So some of the other guys are like Cameron Curl, Lohi Gilman, who's the Ravens had picked up, Kobe Bryant, another Cincinnati kid, Andre Cisco, Reed Blankenship.
Played pretty good, didn't he, out there in Seattle?
Yeah, he's been decent.
Yeah.
Like Reed Blankenship had a really bad year in coverage, but the 3 years prior to that were all around 70 for his PFF grade. This year is like a 31. So you're hoping that's just a one-off. He's still 26, getting ready to turn 27. Played in big games with Philadelphia, obviously, in the time he's been there. So that's a guy that would interest me. Jaquan Brisker, he has not had a super great season, but he's been really good as a run defender still.
Yeah.
Nick Cross, who's only 24 years old. So I think the safety class and the free agent safeties and linebackers is probably two of the better positions off of what I've looked at.
Yeah.
But you got to spend the money to get these guys. You know what I mean?
That's
like
true. And
Devin
also,
Lloyd, Quay Walker, Leo Chanel, Devin Bush, Nakobe Dean. Like those 5 linebackers are going to go quick in free agency.
And then we also have internally, like, we got like Joseph Osai. You know, he's got David Malagueta. So if we're going to retain him, I think I don't think he's going to command like pass rush the highest dollar amount, you know, but David Malagueta is still going to push for a ridiculous contract for him.
Yeah.
So what money does that leave to sign a decent safety versus bringing in someone like Caleb Downs, who's not going to cost you shit? He's a rookie.
Man, one thing that was impressive about yesterday, they lined up Shamar in the inside a lot, and he was just straight bull rushing Bonito back. Did you guys notice that?
Maybe that's what they're doing, going I did notice yesterday that they were playing a lot of the guys. Like Tyson Anderson made a play yesterday in defense. He don't fucking play defense. Like everybody's clamoring for him to get in there, and he made a play on defense. So they were playing guys yesterday, and maybe they were playing Stewart in the slot in the middle of the line a little bit more to see what he's got. I don't know, to finish off the season.
Yeah. Just fun conversations, man. Just the way to like you put your roster together. It's like seems easy, but it is kind of hard because you got to look at like the big picture of like what's in free agency, what's the depth of the draft.
Yep.
Now, obviously, you always want to take the best player available, but you know what I mean. So it's just fun. That's all.
Yeah, and we'll do, some of our shows, once again, going to just Fridays for a while. We'll see if we pick that back up. But, being the off season, going to cut down to 1 day a week, just do Friday. But, some of these we'll do like, okay, who's the D-tackle free agents? And we'll just focus on those players and talk about them, PFF grades, different stuff, ages, all that stuff to look at, projected contracts when all that stuff starts to come out there. Some of it already is for some players, but you'll get that more and more as it gets closer. And look at different positions. Then, maybe we'll do a whole show of like, okay, here's the D tackle class, for the draft and some of their strengths. So we try to do all that stuff during the off season and have some fun with it. But yeah, we were going to try to do a Bengals draft after that. But man, when those 10 picks took us a long time and a lot to talk about, end of the season. We got hopium for next year. That's all you can hope for.
We're loaded with hopium.
I do think it's fun to draft for other teams though, because it gives you like other perspectives too, like how other teams do it, that sort of thing, where other teams' needs are, that sort like, it's kind of fun to like take on the perspective of other teams, because we're Bengals land here, but like we play these teams too, you know what I mean? Like we should know what's going on with the other teams around the NFL. Yeah. So.
I'm just Zach Taylor's currently talking to the media, probably saying the same old bullshit.
He's like, "Half fuckers, I'm still here." Aha.
What if like last night he's like on the press conference, like, "Dude, I'm hungover, bro. Like I'm wasted." Like, it was a long season,
I'm glad that it's over.
I went and punched my fridge.
With the fucking season, see that where we're picking, and just move on to next year.
So Zach Taylor confirms Al Golden and the rest of the Bengals coaching staff will return. So they ain't get rid of nobody.
Of course they will.
I thought there could be when there somebody was talking about Pitch today, maybe going somewhere, but man, I don't know.
He might get a couple interviews, but no one's going to hire him this cycle to be a head coach. So
no, but an offensive coordinator, and why wouldn't he go somewhere else that he could call plays? I mean, an offensive coordinator at another place could be enticing if you get to call your plays.
I mean, but look at Callahan. He was in that same spot Pitch was, where he's basically like also he is the offensive coordinator. He's just Zach and him work together on that stuff. But I mean, Callahan's still got a head coach job.
Tennessee,
huh?
Wouldn't it be funny if Pitch went to Tennessee? Like they hired him like two coordinators in a row.
You gotta like the quarterback. Does he like the award? The coaches that are getting interviews is painful. Matt Nagy, like we're really interviewing Matt Nagy.
Stefanski will probably be a hot name in the coaching table.
He's probably the number one candidate. Who else is out there? I don't know. I haven't really looked.
It proves that the Browns are just a shit team. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not chucking rocks from my fucking glass house over here because I'm living in Bengal land. As far as like ownership goes, but like, I mean, that's not a bad coach. Didn't he win Coach of the Year like twice?
Yeah, he did. He did
for Cleveland, right?
Yeah. In one of the games, he didn't get a coach in because it was the COVID year, and he had to sit in his basement. Remember that?
Yeah, man.
Was that the playoff game?
Yeah,
like the first playoff game.
It's Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. I believe it was.
Yeah.
There could be a chance that Jaden loses Cliff this year too. He's being tossed around for some head coaching spots.
I did see this in my short time awake that Lou Anarumo has connections with interviewing with Tennessee.
Well, his defense looked like dog shit the second half of the season. So
yeah,
they
good luck
to stop that game against. It was just insane. Like wow.
But yeah. Well, fun show. We'll be back on Friday. Not sure exactly what we'll talk about, but there's always mock drafts if nothing else to talk about.
We'll do one of them, at least a 3-round mock for the
Well,
Bengals. Right?
Well, we'll have our picks for the playoffs that we'll make and stuff like that. So be plenty to talk about.
We will have the follow-up because we'll go probably right on after Duke Tobin's press conference. So we might have some things to chew on there.
Will we also have the ceremony where you present me with the award for winning the regular season pick'ems?
No, that can't be aired on YouTube. It's
okay. We're going to X2.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a category for that.
Bring it home, Daddy.
But I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you guys all have a great week and you stay warmer than I am in this